Hello, my name is George, and today I'm going to be walking through my new application project Korli, or just Korli, and this is currently only a back-end application, but I'd like to make it a full-stack application if I can find the right person to work with who wants to kind of bring this application to life with me. So I'm going to walk through the features that it has, a little bit of the app overview, and then we're going to test all of those features and I'll show you how they work and how they go together. So first, just summary. So Korli is a web mobile language learning platform that automatically builds Duolingo-style lessons and an AI chat companion around whatever topic the user wants to study. So there's two main features, the lesson generation feature and the chatbot feature. In the lesson generation feature, a user can put in any topic that they want to learn. Let's say it's food or drink, or going out, or dinner, or medieval history in Europe, or any sort of topic that a user wants to learn. Is not constrained to anything. One that I use in the test here will be like Russian Easter. So any topic that you're looking to learn, you can learn it. You're not constrained to the topics that these other language learning applications force you to learn. So you're not forced down a certain path. Learn whatever topic you want to learn. If it's abstract or if it's very common, you can learn it. Then it takes this topic, it takes your proficiency level, and then it generates 4 lessons. So this will work for users of any type of level, from beginners just starting a language, no practice at all, to fluent speakers that want to learn very advanced topics or use very advanced sentence structure or very advanced vocabulary. It'll do both. And it creates a 4-part lesson. So the lesson will contain 4 parts. The first part will be a vocab lesson. So along with this topic that you're going to be it's generating a lesson on, it'll generate vocab for the topic. So the first one will be a vocab drill. And the next 3 will be very similar to how Duolingo does their questions. You'll have a foreign to native sentence translation, a native to foreign sentence translation, and then some additional vocab questions. All of the foreign sentences and foreign words will have Google text-to-speech audio for them. So unlike my last application I built that had AI language learning components, this application will have audio included. So it's not just generating lessons that you just read and you try to learn from there. It has audio in it, which is extremely important when trying to learn a language. Next feature is the chatbot. So in the chatbot feature, the chatbot will take the context from all of the lesson that you just learned and it will use it in a conversation. So this chatbot it'll start a conversation on your lesson, and it will generate OpenAI text-to-speech, so very human-like text-to-speech, very good pronunciation, you can hear the accents, everything like that. And it will also provide a translation, so you don't have to go back and forth between Google and a chatbot. It's like, okay, what is a chatbot saying? It'll provide your English translation right in the chatbot itself. This solves a lot of pain points that I have when I try to communicate or having voice conversations with AI. One of them is AI doesn't allow me time to respond. So if I take a pause at any moment and I try to think about what I want to say in a foreign language, I'm not at the level yet where I can just speak super fluently and have say an entire sentence without taking pauses and thinking about my grammar and thinking about what words I'm saying and the translation of those words. If I do that, AI and GPT will immediately come in and start responding to me before I've even finished my sentence. And that is very difficult for me to have a conversation. Additionally, GPT doesn't tone down its words to your level. So it uses very complex sentence structure, it uses very complex vocabulary that I don't quite understand yet. And additionally, so having the chatbot feature, I can respond, I can take my time, I can make sure I'm saying what I want to say, and I can repeat what the GPT says. I can hear the audio over and over again, and it's tailored to my level. So for example, if I'm an A1 learner, the chatbot will only use 3 to 4 word-long sentences. It will only use very simple noun-verb combinations. it will only use possibly like one of the guardrails is like, let's say, only use the top 500 most common words in that language. So it has your vocabulary from your lesson, but all of the words that are being used outside of your lesson are just going to be the most common words for that language. It's not going to use past tense or future tense or any sort of complex grammar structures for an A1 learner. Now, all those guardrails are kind of taken off and almost enhanced when you put the topic, let's say, at expert, C1 or C2, where you're being very close to native fluency. So, that are the two features. Make sure I didn't miss anything out. Additionally, there are gamification features as well. I'm not going to go through these in this video, but if you're interested in learning more about this and how the gamification works, you can see there's some sections up here. This document will be available and you can read through them and see them there. So now let's take a look at the features. For the first one, I'm going to run it in Cursor. I should have done this before. So let me activate this, and we're going to open up our lesson creator. I'm just going to run it here so that we can see the terminal and see the output and how it goes through and creates this lesson. So here, my inputs to this lesson creator are going to be the user prompt. So this one I'm going to do Russian Easter, my foreign language, my native language, the gender. This is for the Google text-to-speech. The lesson level, so this is going to be A1, so the very beginner level, and the lesson count, and for our purposes this will be 1. And now I'll run this lesson. So the first thing that will happen, as you may assume, will be the cleaning of the prompt. So here it cleans my prompt, ensures that the prompt is a good prompt, that I'm not like trying to learn something obscene, that and then that it's in a good form so it can reword it to put it better into the item. The next thing will be the vocab audio files. Like we talked about, it's going to be generating vocab words. So here you can see out of the 20 vocab words that were being generated, 17 have already existed. So what's happening is for each one of these languages, so it's the foreign language, the gender, is being stored in a cloud database. It's being stored in a SQL database here. And if I open it up, the table that I'm using, and we just can see what this contains. I can run this prompt, SQL prompt, and I can see all the words here. So this is how it's happening. So first I send the prompt to GPT. I say, hey, this is a user's topic. All these other sort of items that are built into the prompt, generate vocab words for this topic that a user can use in a lesson. So it generates that vocab words. Now I take those vocab words and I look them up to my database. Have I already generated a URL for this audio, for this word, an audio URL for this word? If I have, then I'm just going to reuse that one. If I haven't, I'll create a new audio URL. So here in this first part, since I've run this prompt a couple times, I've already have 17 of the existing audios. I'm just going to generate 3 new ones. This means that as people use this application and as it becomes more used, lessons will be generated faster and faster and faster because they're being cached for the user. I'm not re-prompting, I'm not re-requesting audio files and storing audio files for every single word over and over again. Right? Only the key string, I guess, the flag, as I like to call it, or the primary key is going to be the language that it is and the gender of that one, and then the word itself. So you could have the same word, but it could be a different gender. You have to make sure you generate a new file for that. So you need the same foreign language, the same gender, and then the same word. So that's what happens here. Next, it will do the audio files. So here, it already found 48 existing audio files. It only had to generate 29 new audio files. So here are the new audio files that have been generated. So you can see, like I said before, for the features, this will be for all of the foreign language words and for the foreign language sentences. So they're all being generated here. And you can see that this lesson here was completed in just 18 seconds. So very quick, very fast. Custom lesson, 60 questions on a custom topic that I wanted to learn, complete with text-to-speech in just under 20 seconds. Now let's look at the structure of this, the structure of the output. So this is what's going to be sent to the front end and what the front end is going to use to build these exercises. So first is up here we'll see our normal items. We'll see what was being generated, the level, foreign language, native language, and then the first item here will be our lesson. So we've only generated one lesson, so there's only one lesson item here. The first thing for the lesson is the vocabulary. So this is going to be the 20 vocabulary words that were generated for this topic. So go ahead and shrink this down. Next will be the exercises. Here, this is a normal exercise, so that means it's not the vocabulary one. So the first one's going to be the vocabulary one, which we can see eventually, but this is just going to be a normal one. And this question, this normal one, first has a vocabulary word matching. So here you can see the word and the translation. This is from the vocabulary above. So this would be used, for example, in a vocabulary matching exercise. If I just open this real quick, I can show what like a drafted front end will look like. But let's go to a sentence translation here. So ja kušaju kluč. I eat Easter bread. Here we can see this type of question is a sentence translation, and the direction is foreign to native. So here we have our foreign language question, and then we have our correct answer. So these would be the words that the users would see, and they would need to select I eat Easter bread in order for it to be correct. So if I go back here, just to show you what this would look like in this draft front end, over here, this would be kind of like the home page. You come here, this would be your language section. So this is like a one-page application. Inside this lesson generation, you'll have the items that we just put in. So our topic, foreign language, your difficulty level, and the voice. And then we would have the lesson being generated. So the lesson generation animation here, possibly. And then we have our lesson that's been complete. Here, this would be like what the vocab matching would be. So you'd be selecting your foreign language word, your native language word, foreign language word. Here's what the question, like sentence, would look like. You'd have your question above, then you'd select your words here. So that's how it happens. So here's now, this is the opposite. This is native language to a foreign language translation, sentence translation. And we can see our native language here, and then our foreign language here. Then at the bottom of all of this, we will get our audio files. So here are all the audio files that were generated that are needed for this, for all of these exercises. So like I said, each one of these verbs, each one of these words should have an audio file to go with them. So if I look at it, it's going to come up lots of times because it's used in a lot of the questions. If I go to the bottom, here is my audio file. If I click on it,
красить, красить,
I can hear my Google text-to-speech. This was for the male voice. And I have the audio URL that the front end will use to play. And this will be used when doing your lesson. And you can also hear this for sentences.
Кулич – традиционный пасхальный хлеб.
So this happens also for the sentences as well. So all of the Russian words all have this. Perfect. I think that's everything for this. All of these audio are stored, the audios that we generate are going to be stored within SQL database, and all of these audio URLs are stored within Supabase. So if we go here, we can see all the URLs, so it's not storing these MP3 files on the server, on the backend server itself. It's storing these in the cloud through Supabase, and this is where these URLs are pointing to.
挨拶
So I can hear them here. So here, like we talked about before, the audios are separated between chat and lesson, between the foreign language that's being done, and then the gender of those words. So we can hear them all here.
Старые,
I've done tested out a couple different languages.
임원 회의 동료를 소개합니다.
And these are all GPT, these are all Google text-to-speech.
사요나라 라
All generated customly for the user's lesson. Next, we're going to do the lesson generation. The chatbot feature. For the chatbot feature, first I need to do my lesson generation. So for here, I'm going to just put this down to A1 level. and we're going to have female voice, the user prompt here. I'll go ahead and execute this. As we saw before, this should hopefully take under 20 seconds. There may be some slower time just because it's deployed and it's not being run locally, and the server that I'm using is not the most powerful, since I don't want to pay an expensive amount, but quick enough. I'll go ahead, I'll copy this, and I'll go first to this other endpoint called boil down. Here I'm going to shrink my lesson just to the sections that I need. So this is going to shrink down that entire lesson that we just walked through, very long, into the content that we need. So the only content we need is the vocabulary and the sentences that are being generated, and then along with the other inputs that are necessary, the language, foreign language, native language, and the lesson topic. So go ahead and copy this output, and now we'll go to our chat endpoints. So we're going to start our chat. Here I'm going to paste in my lesson info, paste it here, and we'll keep it gender and female. We'll click execute. Now I'm doing A1 level, so this should be very simple, straightforward sentences. Only three sentences. It's using the present tense. It's not very complex grammar, so perfect for a beginner trying to learn a language. And now we can listen to the audio. This is going to be using GPT, text-to-speech, so very human-like. The accent will be very good. Great way to learn and hear, listen to foreign languages.
Вы красите яйца.
Perfect. Now, these are all being stored in Redis. The history of the conversation for this session is being stored in Redis. So if I go here, we can data browser. I still have some other sessions open, which should end, but here are the one that we just did, I believe. So we look here, this is our session. So F1083 is being stored here. Oh, it's this one. And here, this is how the history of that chat is going to be stored. So every single time you send a new message, the GPT needs to know the history of the conversation that's happening. So this is the purpose of this. This is also where our system prompt is being stored. So here is our system prompt that's being sent. This is where, A1 level, it's being very strict with how GPT is responding to the user, because it's going to be an A1 level, it's a beginner level. Use only high frequency words, including the user's vocabulary, avoid idioms and complex terminology, grammar, use the present tense primarily, simple past for basic actions, avoid complex texts, etc., etc. It'll go through and make sure that this is really good for the user at this level, which, as you can see in the question that I asked, it is. So now let's go ahead and respond to this. And we'll do the text response, and then we'll do the audio response. Oh, audio, record audio. There you go. Okay, text response first. Go back to our Swagger. We'll copy, I think I copied the session, but I'll just copy it here just to make sure. Okay. Go here, we'll close this, and we'll do our chat turn. So there's two different endpoints, one for voice chat, one for regular chat. We'll go here, paste in our session ID. Now for the chat, I can actually respond in either language. One thing that's really important, like for voice chat, is a lot of foreign languages don't share the same alphabet as English. So it's very hard to type in other languages, especially if they don't share the same language. So for Russian, for me, I would only be using the voice chat primarily, since I don't know how to type in Russian. But to show how this chat works, I'm going ahead and type in English. I like to paint eggs for Easter. I'll go ahead and execute this. So it's saying this to the chatbot, and now we have our response. So now we can go ahead and play this response.
Я тоже люблю красить яйца на Пасху.
Perfect. Nice and simple for this level. Now I can go ahead. Let's go ahead and generate maybe the next level up. Maybe go ahead and generate a 2. So we're going to generate a new session, new chat session. Oh, sorry. We can also go back here and we can see now that the assistant has responded to our message. Perfect. So let's also try generate system. Now this is the next level. How does your family celebrate Easter? A little bit more complex sentence. Still very simple for an A2 level.
Как ваша семья празднует Пасху?
So we have our audio again. Let me go back, here. I'll grab my session. Празднует, I think that's, make sure I have the right form. Праздную is for me, okay. Моя семья празднует Пасха в церкви. So that's Пасху в церкви. That would be my response. Моя семья празднует Пасху на церкви. So we'll go here. Моя семья празднует Пасху в церкви. Save this. Go back to our Swagger. We'll copy our session ID. So copy this. Go over here. We'll go to our chat term. We'll try it out. We'll put in our audio file that we just created. And we'll execute this. Oh, session ID. Execute this. Now we have our audio that was returned back.
Отлично. В церкви всегда особенная атмосфера на Пасху. Вы красите яйца в семье?
There, now we have our foreign language, so this will be popping up in the chatbot, and then we'll have our native language translation so we can quickly see, and the user can quickly identify what they have, what the question was asked if they don't understand the translation. Perfect. And with this Redis item, we can see here. Actually, let's refresh. Let's go to our session. You can see here. Which one did we do? Моя семья. So it got a little. I didn't maybe say семья correct, so I didn't get the word correctly there, probably because of my pronunciation. Празднует Пасху в церкви. So отлично в церкви всегда особенная атмосфера на Пасху. Вы красите яйца в семье. And then from here I could respond to it. And as you can see, when I was doing my recording, I didn't speak. I had pauses when I was speaking. I had to think about the words I was going to say, even though I already practiced it before. That's very helpful in a chatbot because I'm not going to be rushed. I can take my time in responding. Additionally, you can see here that we have a historical summary. So as this messages get longer and longer and longer, there will be a built-in summary, which will, once it reaches a certain length, it will summarize the conversation so far so that the context of this conversation doesn't get too long for GPT to understand and too long for it. Yeah, it will lose context at some point. The tokens will be too large. So there will be a summary to make sure that the messages don't go beyond a certain length. Perfect. So that is the two features and how they work. If you're interested in building out a front end for this and looking at it more deeply, feel free to reach out. We can see over here, this is how the chatbot would work as we just went through. You choose your character, you have your topic, your difficulty level, and you can start. You have your foreign language, you can view the translation, or you can play the audio whenever you want. You can type in your message or you can speak it, and you have your user messages here. And then you can see the gamification features, which are below here. I won't go through the gamification features in the video, but you can read about them and see them in the app document overview. Thank you so much. Happy for hear any feedback or any thoughts and suggestions. Thanks again.